A couple of days ago, um, came across the info that DPR Jones had passed away back in January. Um, it's always a bit of a shock when this sort of thing happens, and it's a little bit surreal too, where someone that you've known in some respects for quite a long while, but not really close enough where you're in that inner circle where you're in really regular contact as, like, close family and friends, obviously. There, I mean, our thoughts go out to obviously DPR's family and friends. I first came across DPR back in, it was about 2008. I'd been doing some videos on YouTube for a number of months, and I got DMCA, Digital Millennium Copyright Act. One of the creationist organisations had filed a bunch of takedown notices against videos that I had up, and it was only like about 6 weeks earlier that Thunderfoot had gone through the DMCA debacle with Venom Fang X, and I think that was towards the end of 2008. So I reached out to DPR, which was, I don't know, maybe it was a strange move, because I was at the time I was a Christian, and I had been sort of, my channel was really just compiling videos that promoted science, and particularly biological evolution, and I would use them to other Christians. So I would be speaking to other people in my church, and they would have some sort of objection to something, and I'd say, look, here, have a look at this link. And it was really, it started off, I guess, just as a repository for me to have content in a place where it was easily accessible to me. I didn't really view it as any great outreach or anything like that, I guess, to begin with. And over time, I got to interact with a number of other YouTubers around that time, and there were quite a number of them that I esteemed fairly highly. And when the incident went down with my channel, and I got in touch with DPR, and then he was just such a lovely bloke, like really someone that I don't think it would matter what your belief system was, what you agreed or disagreed on. He was someone that you could really just sit down and have a great conversation with. And as you go through life, I guess there's people you meet, and there's situations that you encounter which for you may seem at the time sort of insignificant, but what's really happened is you've taken a fork in the road. This person is just, through whatever the action was, you got a different impression about something. And that was one of the early things I did find with a lot of the YouTube atheists at that time, in that they it sounds a bit strange, but they appeared to be more Christian in their way of dealing with people than many of the Christians that I was interacting with on a daily basis. And I guess that was a big fork in the road and a cobblestone in the path, or whatever you want to talk about, in my journey from being a theist to an atheist. It was, I can't credit any one person with anything, but it was just there was a lot of people and a lot of contributions over a period of time that gave me, I guess, a safe zone to question my beliefs, question the things that I'd come to accept that were true, and so at that time, I can't remember how we came up with it, but I ended up reaching out to. I sort of took the collaboration thing that I'd seen DPR do with Thunderfoot at that time, and I reached out to quite a number of prominent YouTubers in that sphere, that sciencey anti-creationism type thing, and that included like Thunderfoot and R and Ra, and at the time Don Exodus 2, who was another Christian. CDK007 was a great channel full of great info. Potholer 54, obviously. Andromeda's Wake back then. Extant Dodos. So there was a whole bunch of these users, and I was totally chuffed that everyone came on board, and we did this big anti-DMCA collaborative video, and it was sort of all. I don't think that would have happened without DPR. You know, I think by having him on board with that project, and it was just a small project. It wasn't nothing large, but yeah, he was a major part in making that happen. He then went on and started with a number of other people, or what eventually evolved into, I guess, the Magic Sandwich Show, with people like R and Ra and Thunderfoot, Don Exodus and Andromeda's Wake, I think it was in the early days. Some others came on later on, Concordance, and yeah, just and it was something I watched a lot. I was involved in some of the Blog TV charity things for Médecins Sans Frontières. He was a huge advocate for that, and you know, that's such a noble charge to take the helm with that. Yeah, he had his own little dramas with DMCAs and that, but just look, he's an all-round. There's my parrot. All-round fantastic guy, and you know, there's a lot of people that you meet on your journeys around this little yellow sun, but DPR is really one of the great ones, one of the ones that really could make an impact with people, and I really appreciate his part in my journey. It's been fantastic, so I'm here to raise a glass for DPR. Very nice. This one we're having a Johnny Walker Scotch, bottle, no, established in 1820. I don't know when it was bottled, but yeah, it's a very nice Scotch, and here's to you, DPR. Cheers.